is Joy News Prime.
My name is Israel. I welcoming you to another edition of Joy News Prime, Ghana's most comprehensive 2 hours of television news. Coming up, flag bearer of opposition New Patriotic Party, Akuffo, presents his version of the state of the nation, describing Ghana as a nation in crisis, contrary to the picture painted by President Mohammed in his State of the Nation address last week. Upper East Region Police killed 2 suspected robbers believed to have been responsible for the death of a police officer in a robbery incident last week. Legal practitioner famous for his role in the landmark election petition, confident of winning the Klote parliamentary seat for the New Patriotic Party after winning the party's primary over the weekend.
And coming up in business, most shops in Accra shut on Monday as Ghana Union of Traders embark on protest action over recent taxes and increases in utility tariffs.
And after 12 months of having to lie on their stomachs to write during classes, the Wa Municipal Assembly in the Upper West region has finally responded to the request for desks by the Perisi NA School. The business news comes up in 30 minutes, but there will also be sports, entertainment, and the interactive segment we call J&I. Welcome once again and stay tuned for the bulletin, which is also across Europe on London-based ABN television. Police in the Upper East region have killed 2 suspected armed robbers believed to have been part of a gang that shot and robbed a police officer last week. The 2 robbers, identified only as Baba and Rasta, were said to have been killed in a gun battle with the police last night in an attempt to arrest them at the hideout at Upale, a suburb of Bolgatanga. The police officer was injured one police officer was injured in the encounter. Upper East correspondent Albert Sori has more.
At a press briefing at Bolgatanga Monday afternoon, Upper East Regional Police Commander DCOP Simon Yawafeko recounted the events that led to the killing of the 2 armed robbers.
This group of 3 were fingered as having committed this offense. So the police laid surveillance on them and their activities. They are going in and then coming out. And I bet you, between 23rd of this month and then 28th of this month, they had gone on to make several strikes. Fortunately for them, they eluded our patrol teams on these occasions. So surveillance on them, sometimes they go out, they never come back to their hideouts. On the 28th, they went out to do a similar strike. They returned to their abode somewhere around 4 a.m. Police had the information, so about 5 a.m. police, well prepared, proceeded because we have heard of them, we have heard of what they are capable of doing. They are deadly.
He said a 3rd suspect, whose name has been given as Patrick Aine alias Aluta, who is now in police grips, will soon be arraigned before court.
The 3rd person, upon hearing of what has happened, was trying to spy on the police to see what has happened to their colleagues. He was identified, and unfortunately, he was arrested and is currently, that is Patrick Aine, alias Aluta, is currently in police custody. This gentleman has a bench warrant from court in Bolgatanga here. There is a bench warrant on his head, and he is going to assist police in further investigations. A lot of victims have been lined up. He will be put up for an identification parade, and subsequently he will be prosecuted in court.
The robbers are also believed to be behind a motorbike snatching syndicate that operates on the Bolgatanga-Navrongo Road. DCOP Afeku said it was not the intention of the police to kill the robbers, but had to shoot since the robbers started firing.
We prepared, went to the abode with a view of arresting them to be put before the law. But police encountered fire, first from them, injuring one police corporal in the process. We tried to demobilize them. They received some gunshot wounds as well. There was a shootout at the abode between the police and then them. Two of them, namely, that is Rasta and then Baba, that is the popular names which they had. They were conveyed to the hospital and pronounced dead upon reaching the hospital.
The police also retrieved an AK-47 rifle, a pistol and some rounds of ammunition from the robbers' hideout. The Upper East Regional Police Commander refused to show photos of the dead armed robbers to journalists, saying the photos would be released in due time. He encouraged citizens to continue to volunteer information on suspicious characters to the police, promising that the identity of such citizens will be protected. Albert Sori filed this report.
Newly appointed Interior Minister Prosper Douglas Bani is committing to preventative strategies in dealing with internal security issues as he takes over from his predecessor Mark Woyongo. Mr. Bani is urging all security agency heads to focus on ways to curb or eliminate conflicts and disasters instead of waiting for them to happen before dealing with them. He outlined these plans when he officially took office on Monday.
Prosper Bani previously served as Chief of Staff. He was one of 6 ministers vetted, approved, and subsequently sworn in last week. Part of the newly appointed minister's plan is to help acquire resources that will equip security agencies to face challenges and take proactive steps in addressing them in the area of disaster management.
My stake will be to see that events that occur in your institutions or in society that requires your institution's intervention should have a preventive orientation, not a recovery or a response orientation. So as we move from now until December, we know we're going to have the rains. The bushfires are almost down. The rains are going to come. The pockets of conflicts, for example, the headsmen's confrontation with residents around Ogogo. All these should have an orientation of prevention rather than recovery. Because whilst prevention is not very visible or photographic, recovery is the romantic way of showing that your institution is doing a great job. When you climb the ladders, when you ride the boats to rescue people, when the firemen are putting out fire, that all the cameramen are, this is just the Rambo type of thing. But the prevention is the real work, so that when the rains come, we don't have the Rambo experience. Everybody goes through the period without any extraordinary loss of property and life.
Meanwhile, outgoing Minister Mark Woyongo has expressed the desire to see some bills passed into law to make the work of the ministry much more effective. He specifically mentioned the non-custodial sentencing bill, an independent police complaint commission materialized.
Thankfully, they have agreed to give us 500 guns and ammunition free of charge. We'll be taking delivery of those weapons in the next couple of weeks. And this will also go to strengthen the Ghana Immigration Service. So Ghana Immigration Service, I hope that you make maximum use of those equipment and strengthen our borders. There's a lot of activities going on, a lot of activities along our borders, so much insecurity around us, and we need to prepare for a bad day. That bad day, we don't know when it will come, but we need to prepare for that bad day.
Also, the Ghana Immigration Service will soon take delivery of about 500 arms and ammunition to help beef security on Ghana's borders. This was facilitated by the ministry, an arms company in the Czech Republic.
Thankfully, They have agreed to give us 500 guns and ammunition free of charge. We'll be taking delivery of those weapons in the next couple of weeks. And this will also go to strengthen the Ghana Immigration Service. So Ghana Immigration Service, I hope that you make maximum use of those equipment and strengthen our borders. There's a lot of activities going on, a lot of activities along our borders, so much insecurity around us, and we need to prepare for a bad day. That bad day, we don't know when it will come, but we need to prepare for that bad day.
Barima Osei Thompson reporting for Joy News.
The Ghana Police Service has donated a vehicle to the taxi driver who risked his life and vehicle in a bid to get some robbers arrested. In what became known as the infamous botched Kuala shopping robbery 2 months ago, the driver chased and knocked down 2 robbers who had shot a lady and robbed her of money she was supposed to be depositing in a bank. The police at the time had promised to replace a taxi which got mangled in the process. At the short ceremony on Monday, IGP John Kudalo donated a similar model of the damaged vehicle to a cousin of the taxi driver.
We as a police institution were very impressed because that's the public spirit that we wanted all the citizens to exhibit. And we felt that though we are also in very difficult times, we have to at least make sure that he continues with what he was doing. So we thought that we have to replace the car. So we have to go around, make sure that the car of the same make, the same year, everything was all that it was when he was using it. But more so, that is more perfect condition than the one that he had. So this car, we went around, combed the whole country and then got somewhere and then brought. So this car is in a perfect condition to assist him maybe to even get a new number if the old number had been recognized by these criminals and all other things. So we come today to tell the good of this country that anything that goes to help augment the police work and make it easier and of course raise the image will be rewarded. Just as we could have rewarded any informant. But in this one we have gone beyond that. And then today we've come to fulfill our promise to the taxi driver, also to assure the good of this country that when you say something, very mean it, and it's not just a matter of just promising. But
all right, so that was IGP John Kudalo, and there was also a cousin on behalf of the driver, Joseph Safokantanka, thanked the police service for fulfilling their promise.
I'm very happy the IGP and the police have fulfilled their promises. My family and I are grateful.
Right, it brings to 2 the number of vehicles donated so far to the heroic taxi driver. He was also given a house by President Mohammed. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more. Please don't go away. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now, the flag bearer of the opposition New Patriotic Party on Monday relayed his perception of where Ghana finds itself now. The speech, which Nana Akuffo describes as a true state of the nation, is aimed at countering the constitutionally mandated address delivered by President Mohammed last Thursday. Nana Addo, in his address, described Ghana as being in a state of crisis. In just over an hour, and without people to serve as evidence of the submissions, the opposition leader gave a blistering account of where the president's speech fell short of expectation.
Ghana is now a country at high risk of debt distress. Government has increased the debt stock from 9.5 billion Ghana cedis in 2008 to some 99 billion cedis currently. In dollar terms, this NDC government has therefore borrowed some 37 billion United States dollars in 7 years. In contrast, President Kwame Nkrumah borrowed the equivalent of some $2.5 billion between 1957 and 1966. And President Akuffo borrowed some $5 billion between 2001 and 2009. This NDC government has therefore borrowed some 5 times the amount borrowed by Nkrumah and Akuffo put together. Reckless borrowing by the Mohammed government has led us to a debt stock that is 73% of GDP, which is beyond the threshold of debt sustainability. Did the president not have any evidence of this when he presented the State of the Nation address? Not surprisingly, we are now being charged interest rates that will keep generations of Ghanaians impoverished. Last year, interest payments amounted to more than 9.6 billion cedis. That figure was more than the total debt stock of 9.5 billion in 2008 at the end of President Akuffo's term. I recall in 2008, candidate Mohammed lampooning the Akuffo government for excessive borrowing. To put the interest payments on the debt in context, we should note that the entire allocations in the 2016 budget to critical ministries, such as the Ministries of Road and Highways, Trade and Industry, Food and Agriculture, Water Resources, Works and Housing, Youth and Sports, and Transport, amounted to a total of 2.1 billion cedis. Interest payment in 2016 of 10.5 billion cedis would be 5 times what was allocated to these 6 key ministries combined. In 2015, the 9.6 billion allocated to interest payment on the debt stock was about 3.4 times the entire allocations to the 6 key ministries listed above. The NDC in 2012 promised to increase installed power generation capacity from 2,443 megawatts to 5,000 megawatts by 2016. The installed capacity was not to be predicated on emergency power plants. The current 800 megawatts, which the President speaks of, is today delivered by emergency power plants, which are costing the consumers a fortune. They are not a permanent solution to our power generation challenge. Additionally, the government has suppressed demand to mines and bulk power demanders like Valco, created the impression that they've boosted supply to meet demand. The President recounts the story of Shirazu Ishaku, the vulcanizer at the Fulfuso Junction, whose life has been transformed dramatically by the extension of electricity to his town. It is important to state, though, that the funding for this SHEP 3 project, otherwise known as Wealthy Lemons project, from which Fulfuso benefit, was secured by the previous NPP government. Blessings. Apart from the emergency plans which are costing the taxpayer a fortune, the government has failed to deliver on its promise. As a result of these questionable deals, electricity tariffs have been increased to exorbitant levels. Consumers are now faced with vanishing power credits and illegal charges for electricity. The President wants to give him credit for resolving Dumso, which was caused by economic and financial mismanagement of his own government. So how can you expect credit for resolving a problem that you have caused, which has inflicted such a high cost on the nation?
The two-time presidential contender also turned his attention to those areas he felt the president had unjustifiably ignored. He also clearly stated that the opposition party will not support the interception of the Telecommunications, Postal and Packets Bill, dubbed the Spy Bill.
I cannot recall in recent times anything that has so agitated Ghanaians as the importation of the 2 Guantanamo ex-detainees into our country. And yet the President, in his State of the Nation address, chose to dismiss this issue by claiming that his foreign minister had addressed the subject when she appeared before a closed-door session of Parliament, when in fact she did not shed any light on the matter. The President chose to ignore the widespread genuine anxiety amongst our people in much the same way as he chose to ignore the laws of the land in negotiating the agreement with the U.S. government. We insist that this belongs firmly to the realms of international affairs, and the conduct ought to have been in consonance with the accepted principles of international law and diplomacy in a manner consistent with the national interests of Ghana as demanded by the Constitution of the Republic. There are serious concerns about what has been termed the spy bill, but the President chose to make no mention of it. Officially, the Interception of Postal Packets and Telecommunication Messages Bill 2015 is intended to intercept postal packets, telephone, and other electronic or cyberspace communications for the purposes of protecting national security and fighting crime. Essentially, this bill gives the state unfettered discretionary access to the private correspondence of individuals. It poses potentially a major threat to individual freedom of expression and privacy. This law should not be passed, and the minority has already signaled its opposition to the bill in Parliament. The irony is that the Right to Information Bill, which on the other hand will rather enhance individual freedoms and good governance by providing further access to public information, all in the spirit of transparency and accountability, has rather been put on the back burner. Obviously, it is not one that excites the President because it provides sunshine on corrupt practices.
Well, government has been reacting to the address delivered by the new Patriotic Party flag bearer. One of the notable reactions has come from the President, Mohammed himself, who took to social media with a post on his Facebook wall, and he says, "I've always believed in the tremendous power that exists within every single Ghanaian, the power to influence the course of events and the power to shape the future of this great nation of ours. It is with this belief that I took office as president 4 years ago, and it is with the same belief that last week I delivered my State of the Nation address. The opposition is exercising its democratic right to criticize, which is a proof that we are living in a healthy democracy. However, it would be wrong to minimize our achievements and the depth of Ghana's transformation in the last 3 years. For me, as president, these last 3 years are a story of hope, a hope shared by so many of us. This is because what we have been able to achieve so far is for all of us, and it was made possible only through the continuous participation of all of us. The most important fact about the transformative stories I shared last week, the most fundamental truth about them is that they are not my achievement. They are our achievement. They are Ghana's achievement. Step by step, we built something important, something that lays the foundation for irreversible improvement in the lives of all of us. We worked hard every day. We kept the faith. We kept moving forward. This is how we achieved all this. Together, we are changing lives, one individual at a time. These are our achievements. This is why I will keep talking about them, because when I talk about them, I am honoring each and every one of you. We also go to My Joy Online, where there's another reaction, this time from a member of the NDC. Kwaku Anyudo says, water provision is NDC social intervention policy. Kwaku Anyudo responds to Akuffo challenge. And indeed, during the speech, Nana Akuffo asked the NDC, being a social democratic government or party that they are, what social intervention measures they had initiated. And this apparently is the reaction. So in response to a challenge by the 2016 NPP that to the government to name a single social government intervention it has introduced, Kwaku Anyudo says the provision of water is a key example. The quote is, water is life. What is more, of a social intervention if I put money in your pocket and you can't buy water. So that's the Deputy National Democratic Congress General Secretary Koko Anyidoho reacting to that, giving that reaction to Joy News. Meanwhile, governance expert Dr. Eric Addo says it is needless for the NPP presidential candidate to organize what he called the true state of the nation address. He was speaking on today's big story a while ago.
We have from the one indicated that as a country, we need a legislative framework to define the minimum content of a president's State of the Nation address. Because when you listen to the NPP today, they are looking at what the president could not do within the period of reporting. The president also highlighted what he's been able to do within the period under review. Where does it leave us as a country? If we were to have this minimum standard in terms of reporting, in terms of coming out with the state of the nation, we wouldn't have been where we are today. So going forward, we still need another party or a group of people to look at what the president has presented and what the NPP presented today and tell us the true state of the nation.
A group of people from where?
Any group of people within Ghana should be able to do that.
What, civil society?
Civil society, I'm calling on civil society to come in at this stage. The educational institutions, the universities are also there. Because the president has presented what he's been able to do. The NPP are also highlighting on what the president was not able to do. The question then is, where does it leave us as a nation?
I'm wondering what you make of this. One of the points that Addo make, what he describes as the president's failure to touch on some really critical national issues like the Gitmo detainees in this country, the two of them, and DKM saga, for example. What do you make of that?
For the DKM saga, I think the president touched on it. But my issue would have to do with the presence of the two ex-Guantanamo bases in the country. That I was also expecting the president to have touched on it because it borders on both internal and external security. And that is not the only one. I was also expecting the president to have touched on the Fulani menace as well as touching on the 40-year long-term development plan. I'm sure this is a very good move. But then where are we in terms of developing this long-term plan? But I think that going forward in future, the president can give us a baseline of where he met Ghana or where he inherited as at February 26th last year, what he has been able to do to bring Ghana to this level, what he was not able to do, particularly within the period, his challenges, and going forward, what he can do to move Ghana to another level.
All right, so those are some of the reactions that have come through following what Nana Akufo-Addo had to say, the opposition leader. You can also get onto my journal online and get to see a lot more. In fact, there's a lot more on the stories. Here, Mohammed addressed his family and friends, not ordinary Ghanaians. That's Akufo-Addo. That's one of the things he had to say. We have the entire speech, full audio, and the PDF version, the MPP's True State of the Nation address, also on myjoyonline.com. We're taking a break at this point. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. Right, so it's time for business, and Emmanuel has joined me. Good evening to you, Emmanuel. So one of the things that's coming up, whilst Akufo-Addo was delivering his True State of the Nation address, traders in Accra, in the Central Business District, were also doing their own thing. They had closed their shops.
Yes, virtually the business district, the Central Business District, as well as some parts, Abosokai, Spare Parts Hub, was virtually, down with no business activity.
Was it that effective?
Well, it was, because virtually, no shops opened. And could you imagine that people who had even brought goods down and then other people who had come to buy spare parts, to other parts of the country, were disappointed, and because nothing was going on, and they claim they've lost. Yeah. It's quite unfortunate. And I wonder if it goes into the third day the same way. I wonder what's going to happen.
So they're saying that this is going to go on for 3 days?
Yes, for 3 days. 3 days. It's ending actually on Thursday. They hope to be back on Thursday. And that is if nothing, or if government doesn't come out with any positive response to them.
Right, so Emmanuel is going to be telling us all about why they're actually protesting. So
yes, okay, good evening. Welcome to the business segment. Consumers have added their voice to calls for government to address the concerns of traders after they were left stranded at major business centers in Accra today. Most shops were closed as the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, and other business associations began a strike protest against new taxes and the recent utility tariff hikes. More in this report.
This is Okainshi here in Accra. I'm specifically here at the bicycle lane. I've been to all the other lanes here at Okainshi and nothing is happening. Shop owners have closed their shops to customers. Over 1,000 shops here at Okainshi. What you find here are what they call the tabletop traders who are taking advantage, obviously, of the strike by GUTA. I was here as early as 6:30 a.m. and only found some consumers stranded. Usually, shops here are open by 6 a.m., but that was not the case today. Several shops here at Okainshi MTTU, through Bicycle Lane, down to Drugstore Lane, to Old Cinema Palace, were all closed. Traders here deal in general goods like cosmetics and beverages, among others, and they insist their shops will remain closed until government addresses their concerns.
GUTA said we shouldn't open, so we are not opening.
Okay, but you don't know why GUTA says you shouldn't open?
Because of the taxes that it has imposed on the goods, so we are not opening. We are on a strike. We are on a strike action.
Today, we are not opening the shop today because of the tax the government has is too high. It's too high. Customers are complaining that things are so high, expensive, and we don't know what to do. The government must reduce the tax. We are not opening the shop till Thursday morning. And even if he doesn't respond, it will continue.
The reason being that the government is not trying to be in agreement with we workers at Okainshi, because tariff these days is becoming too much for us to bear. Even common stamp, government is saying that we should pay for stamp fee, making conditions and things unbearable.
The patrons of the wares of the traders are mostly managers of supermarkets and retail shops who travel from different parts of the country to get goods. Many of them express their dissatisfaction at the turn of events.
I just came to the market this morning and I learned that all the shops are closed. They said the taxes are too high, they can't pay, so today they are demonstrating.
I'm disappointed. I came all the way from Nzima in the western region to buy goods for my shop, only to arrive here and find the shops closed.
From Hasen to Mukrum, 150, no kono but 300. No pay a bear wins or matter 2 stone in Mubiama. Tianzo Amaya Kani Siasa, Yalo Dubianfa.
The shops are closed. I usually transmit goods here to the final destinations of customers. Today, all the customers who have visited the shops have all left empty-handed. It means no money for me today. This is just not right.
What customers?
I have customers from Elubo, Aflao, and other areas who come here to buy in large quantities. Most of them have been here this morning and have had to return because the shops are closed. At least if they buy, I'll carry their goods and will get paid. Now I'm sitting here idle with nothing to do.
So this is exactly the situation we hope to be facing come the next 3 days until Thursday, when perhaps the strike action, must end. Meanwhile, the Greater Accra Regional Police Command earlier in a statement urged the leadership and members of the group to exercise their rights of protest within the confines of the law and not in a manner that will call for police intervention. The strike is expected to continue till Wednesday. Moving on in business, the Environmental Protection Agency EPA has initiated the evaluation processes for oil and gas exploration in the Voltairean Basin. The Strategic Environmental Assessment SEA for the Voltairean Basin is aimed at gathering information on the likely impact of exploration on the communities within and around the onshore settlements along which the area transcends. The Voltairean Basin is an onshore basin located in parts of the northern, Brahafo, Eastern and Volta regions. The Strategic Environmental Assessment SEA of the basin is aimed at duly advising government with the relevant information to be gathered Speaking with Joy Business after a stakeholders forum, Director of SEA at the EPA, Asare, said the initiative is critical in ensuring that the resource is not exploited at the expense of the environment.
GMPC is carrying out seismic exploration of the Voltairean Basin, looking at the potential for oil and gas in the Voltairean Basin. As such, we have partnered with the Ministry of Petroleum to carry out, if any at all, what kind of impacts that we will have if we are to carry out onshore oil and gas exploration.
Speaking at the forum, Minister of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, Mohammed Ayariga, also charged the partners to execute the project in good time to the benefit of the economy.
The partners who are assembled here, I would urge you to work together and work expeditiously to be able to produce the kind of results that is expected and expected in good time. As you know, many people have heard that there could be oil in their backyard, and they are anxiously waiting to be told how much is available and to what extent it can improve their livelihoods in those parts of the country.
The Strategic Environmental Assessment, SEA, is under the auspices of the National Development Planning Commission, the Ministry of Petroleum, among other relevant government agencies, in partnership with the Norwegian government under the Oil for Development Program. Shareholder in cocoa processing company, that is Cocobot, has indicated its preparedness to help the firm out of its woes, albeit not with capital injection. The processing company last month shut down 2 of its 3 plants for routine maintenance and asked workers to proceed on leave. The local workers' union has, however, attributed the shutdown to lack of capital to purchase cocoa beans, a claim that the management has denied. The head of public affairs, Noah Amenya, tells Joy Business calls for his outfit to inject fresh capital into the company are untenable.
We cannot continue to supply beans and say that don't pay, we are just supplying you because we want you to just get cocoa. They need to operate at a maximum level, at an optimum level to make profit. And those decisions are managerial decisions and they are business decisions that should be taken. And we expect the management of CPC to take those decisions. We will continue to support, we will continue to create the congenial atmosphere for them. If there is anything that they want, so far, I think we heard their PR manager say that they have shut down for routine maintenance. They have not told us it is a lack of supply of beans. So the supply of beans doesn't come into the equation.
Their debt, have they also paid it?
Well, I've just said that they have, we have even changed some debt into equity. And going forward, they still owe us. But in spite of the owing, we still support them. And we expect them to pay because we cannot continue to supply beans for which they are not paid.
So Cocobot currently owns about 57% stake in cocoa processing company. Still in business, we're now visiting the stock market. And as usual, John Amakon has joined me to tell us what at stake at the stock market. Has oil gone down or up, or has it stabilized now, John?
Oil price, international market keeps going down since last Friday, basically. So I think, since last Friday, it's been going up actually since Friday, and today it's actually recording almost about $35 per barrel. But then let's start from Ghana here locally, where the market is actually not doing well. We asked around, it looks like a lot of these foreign investors who've been investing in our market are withdrawing their money from the market, basically not just for the fact that it's not doing well, but because one interest rate is high, and we are still not getting the relationship between the Ghana cedi and other major trading currencies well. So that is actually not really returning a lot of investment to them. You know, Emmanuel, when you make your returns, your profit, as a Ghanaian, yours will not, it's straight up. But when a foreigner actually makes a return, the same you made, they would have to repatriate. Meaning that they have to convert the Ghana cedi to either dollar, the euro, or the pound. And that is what is actually killing them. So basically, the market is really not doing well because of that. Today, we only saw a Carl Bank recording only 1 peswa to their investors' capital.
All the others lost.
That, all the rest, ETL, that's EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, that's the parent company of EcoBank Ghana, Standard Chartered Bank, so Societe Generale Ghana, all recorded losses to their investors' capital. So that's basically how the market, but the market also did dip. in terms of total capitalization. So gradually we are losing the size of our market, not only losing numbers, but also losing the size of our market. But we'll talk about that later on. But on the international market, crude is actually $36 per barrel as we speak. You understand? The what do you call it? The New York Mercantile Exchange is almost about midway through the time, but it's currently recording $36 after it's added almost about 90 cents to it. So today alone, it's almost added about 56 basis points to it. Gold also added on almost about $11.45 per ounce to actually close around 1,236, and cocoa gained $67.
That's good news.
The highest so far in about 3 months. That's how it is. Right. Yeah, so that's how it is. So I can say for a fact that globally we are seeing some recovery in there after that particular meeting of OPEC. But CD is also, I mean, smiling at us, if you can see, all greens, because it gained almost.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much. We have every cause to be excited. Exactly. Because cocoa is going up and CD is also paying. That's it for the business segment. Thank you for your company. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafi.
Now, the New Patriotic Party parliamentary candidate-elect for the Klote-Korle constituency says he's prepared to face whoever the ruling NDC will field in the parliamentary elections in November. Speaking to Mamavi Usu Abuaji on the AM show, the NPP's election petition hero, Philip Addison, says he will campaign on environmental issues and unemployment in the coming elections.
I don't suppose you expect me to tell you my strategy on air here. But yes, But do you feel strong against that? Oh yes, when I decided to embark on this journey, I was prepared to take on anybody who comes along. So I'm ready. But you know, they're also facing their own challenges, internal challenges. Which of them would you prefer, Zenato or the current Member of Parliament? Any of them. I leave it for them to decide who their candidate will be. Yeah. So what is it specifically that you want to do in Klote-Korle? Well, Klote-Korle, as Member of Parliament? Yes. For the past 1 year, engaging the constituents, I realized there are two main issues that we need to tackle there. One is jobs for the youth. There's a serious high rate of unemployment among the youth. And then we have environmental challenges. You recall the flooding that took place last year as a result of the rains. It's basically in my constituency. So these are the two main issues that we need to tackle head on. I just want to show you this headline, Klote-Korle contest, Addison's victory, a relief for Zenato. And that's according to Benefin, who's a very credible poster, been making very important comment on elections for all these years, and he gets most of them right. He thinks that it will be so easy with you. I think I was asked this question, and I said I had no comment. He's entitled to his personal opinion. I'm even surprised to hear there are posters in this country. Do we have polls in this country? People never speak the truth as to where they're going to vote. So on what basis do we conduct these polls?
Malku Girls Senior High School in the Volta Regional Capital Hall is also bearing the impact of recent water crisis across the country. The situation has caused some students to go without bathing for 2 days.
The alarming situation of water shortage on campus has compelled students to break bounds to go searching for water in town. Dozens of the girls who hit the streets in search of water besieged homes and car washing bays, pleading for water. Some traveled about 500 meters away from the school to get water. While others were fortunate to get pipe-borne water, others had to make do with well water, which the students fear may be contaminated and may give them waterborne diseases. Some students who spoke to Joy News explained that the water situation has been persistent.
It's water crisis in Malco Girls, and students are finding it difficult to take their bath and even to drink water. The school is really in a mess. If you come to the toilet, it's not good at all. And I think it's because of the students who just came to the school to join us in this inter-schools activities. After they left, they decided to lock the tap, and it's a shock to us. We were thinking probably it's because of the way we waste water in the school.
We'll be having it back at times we come in the afternoon after church service by this
So what sorts of water do you guys have? Is it a borehole?
We have borehole, like Heinz. We have the borehole, we have the pressing one, the one you first did. We have the tap.
So both are not flowing since morning?
Yeah. As for the borehole, the pumping one, like there's a pressure on it, so it has to.
Meanwhile, the assistant headmistress in charge of welfare, Rose Nyauto, has been explaining the situation that led to the shortage of water on the campus.
The mechanized borehole had a problem, electrical problem, with the switch. The switch got bent, and immediately we replaced it, and then it got bent after 30 minutes or 45 minutes at that moment. So there was no water, and it was weekend too. The girls had to wash, we need water. But what we did was we asked Ghana Water to supply water. So tankers came, 2 tankers came on campus to supply the girls with water.
Fred Kwame Sare's report.
Now, the Ghana Water Company Limited is denying claims that it has abandoned an excavation site on the Ring Road here in Accra, where a pipe burst some months ago. The leakage has caused serious damage to at least one building, and water is still gushing out of the hole. The water company explains to Joy News identifying the source of the leakage has proved quite challenging.
Treated water has been going waste for months now, negatively affecting structures and residents in the area. One of the affected business owners is the managing director of the Paloma Hotel, Patrick Matuk. He says he has written countless letters to the GWCL to get them to repair the leakage of the 21-inch pipe, but nothing has been done about it. He says he has spent money on excavators and other equipment to help rectify the problem.
1st of December was when we first sent our first correspondence to Ghana Water Company seeking their assistance on the serious leakage affecting our property. Thereafter, on the 11th of January, I did a follow-up again, and another letter was sent. Then on the 15th of February, I had to send a letter this time to the managing director himself at the Ghana Water Company. There is dampness, as you know, water goes with dampness, but it has not affected the structure short term. But if this persists, definitely it may have some effect on the structure. But more importantly, it's a commercial structure meant for rent, long lease, or even sale. And unfortunately, due to what these people come to meet over there, I'm losing the opportunity to have that property bear its fruits. So this is my main concern as well. In connection with our support for Ghana Water Company and its efforts towards having this matter resolved, we offered some tools, equipment, and plant. Most expensive of those were the excavators that were brought into site to excavate. And all along, we've been very, cooperative in all aspects to try and, help them make the working environment comfortable for them to achieve their goals in this regard.
This building has not been spared of the damages. Some parts of the building are filled with water. The owner has therefore created a manhole from which he pumps excess water constantly to avoid further destruction to this building. This is treated water being pumped out from a manhole because there's a leakage in the main supply line. Let's see how quickly the water fills this gallon we have here. Within a matter of 30 seconds, this gallon has been filled. But in an interview with Joy News, Communications Manager of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Stanley Marty, says identifying where the leakage is coming from is a major challenge. He explained that the affected pipe might be under one of the buildings in the area and requires destruction of the property to stop the leakage.
It's been a bit of challenge for them, and you realize that the whole area has been excavated. Okay, so currently we haven't been able to identify the exact point where the leakage is, but we are still working around the clock to enable us rectify the situation. You all will bear with the situation that it is treated water going waste, and it's going against the Ghana Water Company Limited. So there is no way we'll sit aloof without making sure that that situation is rectified. So we'll be working, and we will continue to work until we identify the leakage and have it rectified, and then we clear the area once and for all.
Mr. Marty, however, promised that the GWCL will fix the situation as soon as possible without giving timelines. Efua Evans Chinwe for Joy News.
Up next, we bring you international news. You're watching Joy News Prime. Now, Lord Addo Asare is here to tell us what's coming up on JNI, but it's right on the hour, and so I'll give you the headlines. After that, we'll take what's coming up on JNI. Now, the flag bearer of the opposition, New Patriotic Party, Akuffo, presented his version of the State of the Nation, describing Ghana as a nation in crisis, contrary to the picture painted by President Mohammed in the State of the Nation address last week. The Upper East Region Police have killed 2 suspected robbers believed to have been responsible for the death of a police officer in a robbery incident last week. Legal practitioner famous for his role in the landmark election petition, confident of winning the Korle parliamentary seat for the New Patriotic Party after winning the party's primary over the weekend. In business, most shops in Accra shut down on Monday as the Ghana Union of Traders embarked on a protest action over recent taxes and increases in utility tariffs. All right, so Lord has joined me now. Lord, what's coming up on Joy News Interactive?
Well, good evening, Israel. You know, I think Nanado couldn't pick a much better day to give his version of the State of the Nation address.
Why do you say so?
Today is 29th February, and this happens, what, every 4 years? So it must be a very special day.
It's true. I actually never thought about that.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, flag bearer of the opposition, New Patriotic Party, says Ghana is in crisis in what he calls the true State of the Nation address. His speech lasted a little over an hour with no people evidence and the usual jarring that characterized President Mohammed's address. But do you think it was necessary for Nanado to also present a State of the Nation address?
What is his campaign message? That's what I was expecting him to come and say, but not to come and counterize. He has not done this, he has not done this. Because this one will become, these people, the NDC will also come back to say so many things about him and to amount to nothing.
Also, several shops at the Central Business District in Accra have closed down as a result of a strike action by the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA. The reason is that their businesses are being strangled with outrageous taxes by government. Is a strike action the best way to go? And do you really think it will make any difference at all?
I think that strikes isn't the way to go. We should get their leadership to meet government and then talk things over with government. I mean, they are Ghanaians affected by the taxes anyway, and the rollover effect is on us who buy things from them.
So when I return in a little over 30 minutes, I'll be sharing your comments on the most talked about issues on our social media platforms today, including President Mohammed's and the NDC's response to the opposition NPP State of the Nation address. My name is Lord Addo Asare. I remember the interactive segment is brought to you by Addo. Easy?
Right, thank you very much, Lord. So Lord will be coming. It's just in about 30 minutes with Joy News Interactive. Now, in some good news coming out of a story we did, pupils of the PRC MA school in the Upper West region have been provided with desks after a year of lying prostrate on the bare floor to write. The 200 dual desks were provided by the Municipal Assembly over the weekend after Joy News' report on the flight of the pupils made the headlines. Joy News' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam returned to the school on Monday morning. He reports the pupils now sit on desks, something they have been denied for the past year.
This was the state of the PRC MA Primary School, located 4 kilometers away from the Upper West Regional Capital, when Joy News visited the school last week. The pupils of the lower primary sat on the dirty bare floor to listen to their teachers teach and lie prostrate on the floor when they are given class exercise to do. As a result of that, the pupils had developed waist pains and others catching a cold. They also went home dirty. The classrooms are also poorly ventilated. However, the situation is different today. The Ministry of Education, in conjunction with the Wa Municipal Assembly, donated 200 dual decks to the school. Upper West Regional Minister Amin Suleimani, accompanied by the Wa Municipal Chief Executive Isaku Nuhu Putia and some officials of the Wa Municipal Directorate of Education, presented the furniture to the school.
Well, we're happy that the school has now been supplied with all their financial requirements. The stepping news of the administration brought to the Minister for Education, and already with what the municipality was doing. So the ministry organized with the municipality and we supplied all the furniture.
Headmistress of the school, Deodon Rosina, expressed her excitement, saying all she sought to achieve was to appeal to people to come to their aid and not to taint the reputation of government officials, as was alleged. She is happy Joy News attended to her and the needs of the school when she cried for help.
Oh, it's going to help because without the furniture, the children were suffering. With the furniture,
a pupil of the school, Idrisu Barkisu, was equally grateful as the furniture will aid them in their learning.
When chess is not there, we can't write well. Now we can write anyhow. So I want to thank government and Honorable DC. Now that we can learn how, nobody can challenge us.
Now that they have been able to fix the furniture challenge at Percy MA Primary School, it is the long-term plan of the Wa Municipal Assembly to fix all broken furniture at schools in the municipality. A contract has already been awarded to that effect, where 1,500 dual deck furniture will be made in the next few weeks. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Percy.
Now, moving on from one good story to, well, not so good story. There's been another accident on the Techiman-Kintampo Highway barely 2 weeks after the tragic loss of over 60 lives on that stretch. The accident, which occurred at about 12 midnight, involved a passenger bus and a truck also loaded with tomatoes traveling from the north towards Kumasi. Passengers on board the Yutong bus escaped with minor injuries and have all been discharged. The driver of the truck and his assistant, who also got injured, are said to be responding to treatment at the Holy Family Hospital at Techiman. The Multimedia Group has petitioned the Speaker of Parliament to pass the Right to Information Bill before approving the act which will allow for interceptions of postal packets and telecommunications. This comes with just a week to the deadline for submission of memoranda for the interception of postal packets and telecommunications bill. Private legal practitioner Samson Ladia Yenini, who wrote the petition with and on behalf of the Multimedia Group, tells Joy News that they will not rest until the right thing is done.
We have been at it since 2003. Why? Why? The simple request, the simple power for the individual citizen for whom you are governing, for whom whose taxes are used to pay you, and on whose behalf you are exercising the authority you exercise as a chief executive of NHIA, as a chief executive of National Identification Authority, as the president, as the attorney general, as the minister of finance, as the minister of interior, to give that citizen that right to come to you and say, I need to know why the Gitmo 2 were brought into Ghana. Give me the information, so that that right will not become at your whim and caprice. This bill has been in the Parliament House for too long. There is no reason for a continued delay. And now we are in a hurry. Within a matter of 1 week, we are about to pass a bill into law that will give government the right to interfere with my private communications and conversations and correspondence. We're about rushing to give government the power, national security the power, to tap my conversations, to eavesdrop into what I do in my bedroom, in the privacy of my home. That one, we have been in a hurry to do it in a matter of 1 week. We gave the public just 1 week or so to do what? To bring their contributions.
That was extended by 2 more.
It was extended by 2 more weeks because we began to cry hell.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. Up next, we bring you entertainment.
Entertainment news is brought to you.
Right, so she's here with a new look, Miss G, here to give us entertainment. So, what's the motivation for this latest move?
Well, I thought everybody was looking reddish in the month of February, and whilst we are moving away to March, I decided to now look reddish. And also, I'm celebrating with people who have not celebrated their birthdays in the last 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
How kind of me.
The people who have their birthdays on the 29th,
you know, they always are perching between 28th and then 1st of March. So today, I'm celebrating with them. So I joined them celebrate their birthdays.
That's cool. I'm sure they're happy about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so I know that in your mind, and in my mind as well, we know Shatta Wale as a very controversial artist. Oh?
He is.
He is?
Yeah.
Well, his wife says he is not. Michelle says he's a sweet guy, he's a romantic guy. But the only thing she says is that when she gave birth to Majesty, which is their son, the baby was afraid of Shatta Wale because the voice was scary.
Kai.
He was coming in there. But she talks extensively about his relationship with the man Bulldog and his relationship with some other persons in the industry and their life as husband and wife.
So, Mrs. Shatta Wale, let's hear her.
Yeah.
When I came back home from the hospital with the baby, it got to a point that the baby was scared of his voice. Like, he sounds so hoarse, and I'm sure the baby was seeing him like, hey, kakai. So it's like, you know, but he's used to it now, and he plays his daddy role very well. I think he picks the baby up before I even get out of bed, pet him, pamper him, pat his back, do all that.
It looks like Shatta Wale is more close to his fans than any other thing. Are they just on social media or they hang out?
They hang out. Some come home. Yeah, we get that close. Organize a couple of parties, tiny get-togethers, and then, you know, have a few fans come home. I talk to most of them myself, so it's a family thing.
But do you see him hanging around with people in the industry?
Yeah, once in a while. I see Pop Skinny, I see Sarkadia. They make good music together all the time. He inspires me. It takes him about 3 hours to put a beat together, sing on the beat, mix and master. It's genius to me. It's music madness to me.
Let's move straight to Shatta Wale and Bulldog. I mean, they used to work together. They were the best of friends. Something happened. A breakup. Did it affect Shatta Wale in any way?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, because he's lost a friend. Aside losing a manager, he lost a friend. So yeah, it affected him. Not too much, just a little. I've met Bulldog. I'll say we were friends to a point, you know, but I believe that in life we're growing, we'll meet different people, we drop friends, we make friends, we drop friends. So yeah, that's how it will be. Some people have to go, others, it just can't, you can't have the same person in your life throughout. Work-wise, you have to go up.
Can you see him somewhere and go like, what's up, Bulldog?
I can see him and say hi, but we're not friends.
Baby, 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 oh yeah, chop kiss, baby, baby, oh yeah, chop kiss, baby.
Right, so as far as when it comes to love and playing romance and playing the husband, yes, he may be a sweet husband and all that, but he's still controversial.
Well, that's to you, but Michelle thinks otherwise. She says, actually, I call her, she said, he leaves controversy at the gate. He leaves trouble at the gate.
So, you know, he is controversial, but he leaves it at the gate. Doesn't bring it home.
Anyway, so Addo says in his State of the Nation address today at the Physicians and Surgeons
College.
He said that he is setting, or he's going to set up a fund for the creative art industry. Remember that when President John Mahama was addressing the nation, he forgot to talk about.
He forgot?
Yes.
He didn't come up. We don't know whether he forgot or he deliberately left
Okay, so he omitted the creative art industry. But Addo says that should he become president, he will set up a fund for the creative arts industry because he believes that it's the heart of the nation and it's dear to his heart as well. And so he'll be setting up a fund for the creative arts industry. We're sure that people will be happy to hear about this.
Well, it's a campaign promise, and we're waiting. When it happens, we'll see whether it actually happens.
Well, so let's talk about the color party that happened over the weekend.
FM
Addo
it was all over the place.
I tell you, I was going home at about 10 p.m. and the taxi driver was listening to Addo, and they were still on. I'm like, woo, you know, they had a great party. Talk about Ekuma.
Is that why you got this one on?
No, I waited for them to be done their color thing, and then I started mine.
Oh no!
So I answered them my own color birthday, color everything. Anyway, so let's look at highlights from the color party.
Presenters of Addo FM and Addo TV showed their prowess as they stormed the stage at the car park of the Trade Fair site for this year's color party. From Kwamina Aidan and his live worship team, the love sex Dr. Ekuma Mamazimbi, Nana Yabref and all the Addo TV team joined in the fun. Addo FM morning show host Captain Smart shocked fans of the station with his singing skills. He and his wife as his backing vocalists. Then came that romantic moment. Joyce Blessing, Bob Skinny, and his Kasahari team also entertained the crowd. Loyal listeners of Addo FM were rewarded with various items for answering correctly questions about the station and its programming.
People really had fun.
They did have fun, you know, but it was great to see a lot of people come out to enjoy themselves, you know. But let's go to the Oscars. It happened yesterday, and Abraham Tab made us so proud. You know, he presented an award at the Oscars. But on the red carpet with Ryan Seacrest, he was asked about, you know, how he's, you know, waiting to get on that stage to present the award, whether he was nervous. He said, well, it's his first time. He didn't think that it was this big, but he's okay. But he made a revelation there that 10,000 pairs of his footwear, which is customized, will be donated to Ghana.
That's how huge it's going to be at the Oscars, and this is my first time, so it's like...
Now, you'll be up on stage presenting. Do you get nervous about that?
No, at first, my first time that I came on Hollywood, I get nervous, but now I'm used to it.
Cool, calm, and collected. And tell me about your shoes, because I know there's something significant and special about those.
Yeah.
Take a look. There you go. They're made by Tom's.
Yeah, this was made by Tom's, and they made it for only me. I'm the custom made from only me, and I'm the only one wearing it. So, and they are donating 10,000 pairs of shoes.
10,000 pairs donated to Ghana.
Yeah, to Ghana. So it's pretty cool.
I feel so happy for him.
Very, very happy for him.
Can you imagine the astronomical rise of this guy?
From nowhere.
From virtually nowhere. And he's all the way to Hollywood. And he's presenting
and you know what,
Oscars.
People keep saying that some guys have been acting for years, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't go anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
Oh,
Charlie,
too bad. But you know, before the Oscars, he won the lead role at the Spirits Awards for Beast of No Nation. And he was on set to receive his prize. And here's his acceptance speech.
And the Spirit Award for Best Male Lead goes to Abraham Attal, Beast of No Nation.
Thank you to the Film Independent for this award. First of all, I want to say thank you to Ted and everyone who worked on the movie. And thank you to the producers, Amy, Daniela, Riva, and Dan Crown. And a special thank you to Carrie, you know, for letting me play this role. Thank you. And thank you to my co-stars, Idris Elba and the cast. And thank you to my agent, Sandra. And thank you to Zoe and Malco for helping me on set. And thank you to the costume designer and everyone.
All right, so that's our own Abraham Atai repping Ghana and making us all proud.
Very proud.
So, but let's get back to the Oscars, because at the Oscars, he actually made a presentation. We have the video of that presentation. Let's watch that.
We are here to present the award for
So it was just Chris Rock running rings around them, trying to bring some humor.
Because I was going to say, how is this young one going to get to the microphone,
But you're surprised. You were surprised. All these things, a lot of the time, are choreographed.
Yeah.
Everything has been planned, and you make it seem as you want to think that it's just an afterthought. But
but it was planned just to make it more exciting and to grab our attention. Okay.
Jacob, and that boy is Jacob Tremblay.
And then Chris Rock also made a comment, on whilst that was his opening speech about diversity. Talks about the fact that Oscar so white, that it had happened a lot of times, so this is not the first time, blah blah blah, and all that. So I guess it answers Jada Pinkett and all the people who were talking about the Oscar so white before the day. Anyway, that's it for entertainment, Israel.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. G, for bringing us entertainment brought to us by
Airtel, the smartphone network, and I'm repping Airtel, like it.
Entertainment news was.
All right, the guy who has love for sports is joining us to give us the rundown for sports tonight. So, of course, one of the stories is that Hearts of Oak has won the second match.
Yeah, second game running. And it's just brought all of this new level of excitement and verve among the fans, and you just can't explain it,
Hasiphobia.
Are you declaring your colors?
No, everybody else knows my colors. I'm a phobia. I am a phobia fan.
I see.
I mean, that's how we got our 3 points. Yeah, 3 points.
Well, I was born into a phobian family. It's a bit of my blood, but, I do my work professionally.
Doesn't really matter if you declare your stance. All right, you can take on.
All right, so we start off with the Ghana Premier League, where praises are being showered on Coach Kenichi Atuhati for the club's good start to the Ghana Premier League. Accra Hearts of Oak started with a defeat of New Edubiasi on match day 1 at the Accra Sports Stadium and continued in that rich vein of form when they played at the Takwa TNA Park against Midiama SC and won by 2-0. One of the key members of the musical chapter O of Accra Hearts of Oak, of the fans body of the club, has been speaking about the influence that the coach has on all of these performances.
Yeah, Kenichi no size. I'm telling you, it's best ever a foreign coach to coach a club in Ghana. He's a coach that everybody just insult him, his integrity. He cannot coach Accra House of Oak, including some of the board members like Dr. Nyao Tamaklo. Here it is now. The whole Midiama, a very difficult zone for House of Oak to go and even get a point. Kenichi 3 points. It tells you that Kenichi will do the job. We support him 100%, and we know we just don't want to take our hopes high because we are rebuilding. We want to take it slow, match after match. But trust me, Kenichi Ashwash is the man of the moment. He's making it real. He's making us happy. I criticize House of Oak because it's in my heart, it's in my blood. And now I'm the most happiest man. I can walk on the streets of Nima, hitting my chest high because Kenichi has made it. You get me? So I'm a happy person because of, first of all, God and Kenichi. I'm happy. So it shows that, yes, House of Oak, once again, we have proven that we are the masters. We always introduce a new thing. Now, apart from the winning that Kenichi is giving us, he has also created another fans from Japan. to come and watch Accra House of Hope.
All right, so there are others who also think that this is just just a flash in the pan, and this is according to a former coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Isaac Opele Boateng.
We all doubted Kenichi's ability because he came in as an experienced coach and also coming from Japan, but winning 2 out of 2 and especially winning against Midiama, who have Tom Strand, a very good tactician, it means Kenichi has done well with his Hearts team. What I'm realizing is that he tries to prevent the opponent from scoring, and he scores. So he's playing more like a defensive football, but then he blends it with attacking play. And it is helping him. He's been able to score 1 against Edbiasi without conceding and scored 2, which means 180 minutes of football without conceding. It's a plus for Kenichi. We should also not forget that Hearts of Oak, they've got 2 good, fantastic defensive central defenders in Robin Nyani and Akuffo from Wild Stars. So it's helping them. Then they have Sabala in front of the 2 central defenders who also does a good job in front of them. So that's what is helping Kenichi so far.
All right, okay, so that was Coach Opele Boateng speaking rather about what seems to be helping Kenichi. Now, Opele has been a very big critic of Coach Kenichi Yatuhasi. This was ahead of the start of the league, especially when he was trying to prepare the squad. Let's continue with some certified results from the match day. That was match day 2 of the Ghana Premier League. As we look ahead to bring you more here on the Sports Bulletin, we'll quickly take you through, and there we go. New Edubiasi beat Dwarfs by 1-0. Chelsea beat Wafa by 1-0. And of course, the thriller of 6 goals with Hazakas beating Techiman City 4-2. Wa All Stars beat Adriana away 1-0. Liberty Professionals got to winning ways after beating Inter Allies by 2-1. And Dreams FC beat Bechem United by 1-0, while Accra Hearts of Oak recorded a 2-0 win at Midiama SC. Let's go to the English Premier League, where coach Louis van Gaal has been apologizing to referees for his rather emotional act in protesting a refereeing decision during the game against Arsenal on Sunday.
I don't let me go too much, not every match. I'm always sitting on my bench, but today my emotion was a little bit too high. So I have apologized to the ref and the linesman and the fourth referee, and everything is already solved.
Okay, everything is solved. It was done, but it's in the past. I've apologized. It's all good. Well, but Van Gaal must have some very good, balancing stamina to be able to do that and stand up again. Anyway, let's also talk about some of the reactions that have come after that performance by Manchester United.
Premier League, so obviously it's been amazing, and to score 2, it's just a bonus. So hopefully we can just carry it on and then go again next game. It was a shock playing midweek as well, because Martial was meant to be starting and then coming in, but that kind of benefited me because I wasn't thinking about the game too much. So it's just been good.
All right, so Marcus Rashford, that was him. He scored 2 goals in that game against Arsenal, and of course that's a very big fairy tale start for the youngster as he plays in attack for Manchester United. Let's do some basketball now, because the Atlanta Hawks beat Charlotte Hornets by 87-76, 11-point difference. All right, so that's it for sports here on Joy News Prime. Continue to follow us on the sports page of myjoyonline.com, and you can tweet at us at JoySportsGH, and also follow us on our Facebook wall. It's Joy Sports on Facebook for more. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, as we always do. Thank you very much for watching. Keep it here on Joy News. There's more to come with Israel Live. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.